Racing for the very first time. You know, folks, counting tonight, just 2 races remain until NASCAR's version of the playoffs begin, what we call the chase for the Sprint Cup. And as you heard a moment ago, it is nail-biting time for a lot of drivers. There are 8 drivers separated by just 89 points between 7th and 14th in the standings. And guys, you've lived this pressure cooker before. What's the mindset and strategy like for these guys tonight?
Well, as much as they want to pass it off, there is added pressure here tonight. There's always pressure in these races, but these guys trying to make their way into the chase. There are only 2 opportunities left. What they can't do is make any mistakes. These drivers and teams have to be on top of their game. No mistakes anywhere on the racetrack. They can't make any mistakes getting on pit road, speeding there, or getting into their pit box. They have to do everything correctly these next 2 weeks.
And we've had so many cars this year that are still right in that bubble spot and have a chance to get in, and some that have a chance to fall out. And you don't want to be the guy, as a crew member, you don't want to be the guy that makes a mistake that takes your car out of it, especially this close to the end of it. There is a lot of tension down there. The guys are very nervous about this race. They want to get this one and the next one next week behind them and get in that thing.
You know, there are still people who question whether race drivers are actually athletes, but consider this, folks. Tonight, Carl Edwards is going to try to compete for 500 miles with 2 broken bones in his right foot. Now, guys, I got to ask you, what concerns or issues could he have?
Well, it's 500 miles. It's almost 4 hours of racing tonight. And Carl having to work the throttle here. This is a racetrack that once the tires get worn, it gets very slick. You have to really work the throttle. He's having to lift his foot on and off, not being able to pivot his foot. That's a big concern. You know, he's in great shape, but it could create a problem for him later on in this race.
And the other thing is that these cars, to run fast with this car, you have got to run it out on the edge. And way out there, you got to really pedal it. You got to be steering it. It's going to be hard for Carl Edwards to do that and to make his car run as fast as he needs to. I think that they're going to have to set this car up a little conservative and have it where he can drive it a little more comfortable. Now, that's going to knock a little speed out. I think he's actually going to have some problems tonight being as competitive as they really need to be.
In case you haven't heard, medically what Carl has is called a Liz Frank fracture. He has fractures of the 2nd and 4th metatarsal of his foot. In an NFL player, it would end his season right away. He wouldn't finish the rest of the year. But Carl is going to try to drive tonight and finish the 2009 season, but it may be very, very difficult. Well, what the ticker across the top of your screen, Martin Truex Jr. picked up his 2nd pole of the year and 3rd of his career, qualifying at just over 184 miles an hour. It is an all-Hendrick 2nd row with Jimmy Johnson and Jeff Gordon, and the Busch brothers, Kyle and Kurt, share row number 3. Here at Atlanta Motor Speedway, pit road can pose more than the usual challenges. For more, here's Shannon Spade.
Well, one of those challenges tonight, Doc, is the fact that we're racing under the lights in the dark for the first time here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Last night in the nationwide race, Joey Logano told his crew chief that pit road was darker than it has been at any other night race that he's experienced. So knowing that, teams have taken some extra precautions. They put a little bit of extra reflective tape on their pit signs to help their drivers. They also have crew chiefs who are going to be very careful about counting their drivers into their pit stalls. It's all an extra effort because this is the first time here at Atlanta under the lights. Dave?
And Shannon, when I polled the crew members about pit lane earlier today, they said this isn't the darkest pit road they've ever worked on, but it's also not the best in terms of visibility. Our over-the-wall reporter tonight is Mark Hollywood Armstrong. And Hollywood, what kinds of things do you do to get ready for night racing versus day racing?
Well, Dave, as bad as I hate to do it, you have to take off the sunglasses, put on the night glasses. One of the other most important tools I have at night is a light mounted on my helmet. It not only helps me, but it also helps my tire carrier, Matt, be able to see this hub and index the tire. But right now, you really don't get a full effect of what it does because of the daylight still here. But fans, you can bet, we're in hot Atlanta, and later on tonight, we're going to light it up on pit road. So sit back and relax, and let's have a ball.
Casey Kane has had miserable luck here in the fall race. Who will it be as they come down to the green flag and we turn them loose at Atlanta Motor Speedway? Kurt Busch up very high on the outside in the same car he dominated with back in March. But it is Martin Truex Jr. coming out of turn 4 who should be able to hold on and lead lap number 1.
Kurt Busch looked like he was shot out of a cannon off of turn 2 up on the high side right off the bat. Big run on the outside of Jimmy Johnson right here.
Yeah, we'll see that high line work quite a bit tonight, especially as these guys get a few laps on the tires. It's normally not the preferred line early on, but Kurt Busch really got a run.
Has to fall in behind Jimmy Johnson down the back straightaway.
His brother Kyle Busch there challenging for that 5th spot with Jeff Gordon.
Across the top of your screen, the green along the side of those names of the drivers indicates those that are in the top 12 right now in the points. The yellow indicates drivers that have a shot to get there. And, of course, white indicates those that have already been eliminated from chase contention here in 2009.
One of the fastest racetracks that these guys encounter, and it's a mile and a half long, and it is a blast to drive around here, but it also becomes a real bear as you get a little bit of tire wear going on.
Yeah, they ran a 30 and a half second lap there. The last lap in 20 or 30 laps, you'll see that drop off a couple of seconds even. When the cars start sliding around, tires start wearing. See them running around on the bottom of the racetrack right now. They'll start moving up all over this racetrack, and that's what I love about Atlanta. You can race everywhere, all over this racetrack.
Yeah, we see them already spreading out here. You see guys up around the top, some guys running in the middle. There we are, 3 wide coming off of turn 2.
And what a surprise, it's Juan Pablo Montoya, huh?
Man, making a nice run, too.
We mentioned Montoya's very first career top 10 in NASCAR Sprint Cup came at this racetrack, and although he has run well, he has not had another one since. And here are the Busch brothers side by side.
Well, it's a big night for Kyle Busch. He doesn't want to have to make up a huge deficit going into Richmond next week. So he knows that this is his chance to try to get himself situated in that top 12 and have a chance to win a championship this year. See Jeff Gordon there. His car was really good in practice yesterday. I talked to a number of people that said that Jeff Gordon might have or does have one of the best 3 cars in practice through yesterday. Now we know we're racing at night.
One of the hottest drivers of late is this 83 car, Brian Vickers. He's showing up in the picture behind Kurt Busch right here, working the high side. And he has been on fire here the last few races.
Yeah, and you watch him now. Remember Michigan where he won just a few weeks ago. It took his car a few laps to come in, but once it did, he really made that high line work, and it propelled him to victory lane.
Vickers, 3 top 10 finishes, last 4 races at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Right side of your screen, look at the 11 car, Denny Hamlin. He has always run well. He hasn't won here yet, but he's always run well and had very good finishes at this racetrack.
Yeah, we can see he's already working that high line. I mean, he was right against the wall. I think we're going to see that more tonight with these cars than what we saw last night in the nationwide race. It's a different tire that these guys have, too. You can see Brian Vickers really loose there in the 83.
Yeah, even see the back end of that 11 car, Hamlin wiggling coming off the corner.
They qualified and practiced both in the daytime. Now they're racing at night, guys. Big adjustment?
You know, we really don't know. I mean, these guys, we just heard Bob Osborne say he doesn't really know what to expect as far as adjustments go.
Yeah, they don't. As we see Carl Edwards right here on the high side of David Gilliland, who's in the 21 this week. Montoya right behind him. But just going back to races that we ran here at night, in fact, this is the first scheduled race at night. We've had some races to where we were supposed to start it. Montoya goes between the 2 cars. Wow, what a move there. But I know the track really changed when we had to finish those races at night. It got quite a bit more grip. We see 3 wide into turn 3.
Michael Waltrip just scrubbed the wall about a half a lap ago, and the outside, watch the 55 up right side of your screen, all the way up.
Just a little love tap.
That's what you always talk about, though, Andy, right? With your drivers running up there close to the wall. You might have that chance of getting into the wall.
Yeah, you're going
to.
I mean, you're going to risk it. If you're going to run that close, I mean, you just don't have any room for error. I mean, you have to know that you're going to scrape it from time to time.
Back in March, Kurt Busch scraped the wall, went on to dominate the race. It didn't bother him at all. But right now, it is the 1 car of Martin Truex as our leader.
Can be one of the most difficult tracks to get a hold of setup-wise. I mean, it is so slick and treacherous and bumpy. It's probably one of the most challenging racetracks to set up for.
Yeah, you see all of these things on the racetrack where you see the bumps and the dips, and you see the grooves there, where the different grooves are put together there. That makes all the difference in the world in this racetrack and what you feel. And I think you feel the tires more here whenever there's a pound or 2 air pressure difference than anywhere else that you go. And that's exactly what Matt Kenseth's saying about his car. And then it'll just act like it starts bouncing. Before long, he'll say something about feels like a basketball on each corner.
Great battle here for 11th position, and Tony Stewart is struggling a little bit. He struggled last week at Bristol. Shannon.
Well, guys, we talk about the different lines that you can run here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. It seems like Tony Stewart has found his preferred line. This is what he said to his crew chief moments ago.
Truex, the leader up front. He's led all 20 laps thus far. And second spot, Casey Kane. And now in third position is another Hendrick teammate, Jeff Gordon, a four-time Atlanta winner, has taken the third spot away.
Paycheck tonight. Man.
What do you think Chad Knaus is thinking about right now?
Well, he's thinking, I got to tighten him up.
He said, well, yeah. He said, we got it freed up, and that's supposed to be fast, so that's a good thing. What are they saying, Jamie?
You know, Chad Knaus, you guys, he's always like loose, you know, calm, everything's great. Well, I asked him earlier what to expect tonight, and he's like, I don't expect too much, but actually, I don't really know. And now he's finding out, guys. They set this car up way too loose to start this race.
You know, this is a situation, I'm not sure the track is going to gain enough grip to overcome that. They're going to have to make some pretty big adjustments on this car, Andy.
Yeah, and I've not seen with this new car where the track's, you know, you gain that tightness that you used to see years ago where it got dark and the track tightened up. Really, I think that they're going to have to tighten this thing up. It's not going to just happen by gaining grip through the night.
Back in 31st position.
Well, he had that contact with the wall, and pretty significant, too, and he was already loose, and I'm sure that didn't make it any better. You see Truex now is putting him down one lap.
And Andy, as you said earlier, you made a great point that if your car's off here, because of the fast speeds, we have trouble here on
front straight
coming off the floor.
Sam Hornish.
Sam Hornish Jr.
right there. Get a cone, get a cone.
That's going to be a break for Matt Kenseth. He's going to get the free pass there because he just got lapped.
That's it. Let's be ready for a right front splitter stuff
I was
here,
wondering how long these guys could hold on to these cars as loose as they were.
That's the one thing that you dread here is that first run being really long, and if you were off a little bit, and remember, these guys practiced during the daytime yesterday. They really didn't know what to expect. It looked like some of them overcompensated, thinking they might get more grip than what there actually is.
That collective cheer you heard a moment ago was drivers inside the car when they heard the caution flag was out. They get to come on pit road and adjust the cars, and there's the damage, or just a little bit of a lawn mowing gun by the front Dodge.
Flat tires and a little bit of grass they can pull out of there, and Sam will be back on his way.
See, right here, this is going to happen.
And this is one that didn't get saved. We've seen plenty of these almost happen.
Yeah, that was literally right in front of the leader, too.
Plows it across the grass, and Sam coming off 2 top 5 finishes in the last 4 outings, so really gaining on it here, but struggling, as are many drivers in the early laps at Atlanta here tonight. Pace car, and the leader will peel off, Martin Truex Jr. Casey Kane and others coming down for the first pit stop of the night. Dave.
Doc, just a little tricky for Casey Kane right now. Tight most of the run, hitting the splitter loose on just the last 5 laps. It's going to be track bar up a little, plus an air pressure adjustment. Vince?
The 24 of Jeff Gordon, pretty good at the beginning of the run, started to tighten up as the run progressed, not taking a big swing at all, a little bit of a chassis adjustment and 4 tires. Jamie?
The 48 on the bottom, Jimmy Johnson, you saw how loose he was. They're going to make a panhard bar adjustment, wedge adjustment, air pressure adjustment to try to snug him up. Sunoco fuel, he's down and away, Shannon.
Your pole sitter says his car is just a little bit snug, but overall the balance is good. No changes. 4 tires for Martin Truex Jr.
Race off of pit road, and Casey Kane gains a spot and will be the first car off pit road. You saw they all changed tires. Martin up 2, Vickers back 2. Back with a restart at Atlanta in just a moment.
All right, here we go. Pace cars off. Be ready. Get ready. 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 Green flag. Green flag. Green flag. Got the outside.
Middle 3, 26 is going up 5, so middle 3, solo, middle 3. Outside, outside.
Outside, just if you see him. If you see him. Clear low, clear low. I'm keeping an eye on the head of you, too. You're clear. 88 back inside. Clear by half.
Just that quickly, Martin Truex Jr. retakes the lead, and here's the 24 car now. Jeff Gordon sailing by for second spot over Casey Kane. More on Casey Kane. Dave.
Hey, guys, which line was the fast line on restarts at Michigan?
That was the outside, Dave.
That's right. What was the fast line at Bristol?
Outside.
That's right. Why do you think they chose the outside here? Kenny Francis told me today, I think we're going to have to go with the outside unless it proves not to be as valuable as it has been. I don't know. They're going to have to look at that pretty close.
Yeah, what do they think now, Dave?
They might choose the outside next time, the inside next time.
Yeah, Martin Truex definitely took the advantage right there from the inside. We haven't seen that lately.
No, we haven't, but I think what we're seeing, Martin Truex just has a very good race car. It's able to go at the beginning of a run, and it hangs on really well, too.
See the back of the 24 car just wobbling back and forth around there. Now he gets a little out of shape, and the 9 car has a shot to go downstairs and maybe get back by.
See Jimmy Johnson right there kind of threading the needle between these guys.
That was kind of the line that saw Jeff Gordon run a lot yesterday. It wasn't the bottom, it wasn't the top, so kind of in the middle. We see Jeff there. His car's really wiggling a lot.
Got a Dodge, 2 Chevys, and here comes a Toyota of Kyle Busch.
Look how sideways this 48 car is still. You got Kyle Busch now on the inside of the 48.
Yeah, he's going to try to take both of these spots away down on the bottom part of the racetrack. 3 wide here.
Wow, 3rd, 4th, and 5th with Jimmy Johnson in the middle, and now Kyle Busch slides right up in front of Johnson. Vince.
You see that 24 car, Jeff Gordon. It's a brand new car, has all the latest and greatest of the Hendrick technology. It's also the sister car of that car it just went around, the 48 of Jimmy Johnson. Steve Letarte, the crew chief for Jeff Gordon, said those 2 cars came here identical. Gordon's car better in that first stint than Jimmy Johnson's, but they both are fast today, and look for them to be running up toward the front. They are really happy with the way that 24 car has worked this weekend, and a pretty good first stint for Jeff Gordon, who's won here several times before.
Yeah, they're both just about identical in speed right here at this point of the run. See Jimmy Johnson now trying to dive to the inside of Jeff Gordon.
Denny Hamlin now trying to reel in Jimmy Johnson on the bottom of the racetrack. See Hamlin coming there in the 11 car. Will pull up on the inside of Gordon for 5th position.
In that first run, we saw Jimmy's car be pretty decent in the beginning, and Jeff seemed to be pretty good towards the end of the run. We'll see if that...
Look at today's NASCAR Sprint Cup Series race on the Now Network. The current top 3 in points, all having locked themselves into the chase for the Sprint Cup. Tony Stewart, Rusty, Brad, and Ray watching the opening miles of this race unfold. Some early thoughts, Rusty?
Well, I guess it looks like everybody's loose out there right now. Folks got to remember one thing. There's been no night practice here, and the drivers have just got to deal with it right now with these cars that are not handling good. They got to be careful. They got to hold their composure. They need to be talking to their crew chiefs about how to fix these cars, and above all, don't crash these cars right now until they can get down pit road and get them fixed.
Yeah, one driver that's really thinking about that is Matt Kenseth. He's in 30th position right now. Got to the wall earlier in the race. Right now, he's 2 spots out of being in the chase. It's a horrible start for Matt Kenseth.
And guys, we just haven't seen as many cautions as we think we'd see for as loose as those race cars are. I mean, we have seen the 48, the 18 completely sideways, which again goes back to this new car with that wing on it. Seems when it gets yawed out, that wing lets them put a little bit more downforce on those rear wheels and straighten those things out.
Coming back to what Brad said, how far back is Matt Kenseth? Ray almost finished his answer before we found Matt Kenseth on the camera.
I'll tell you what, Matt Kenseth is in a lot of trouble right now. There's a lot of laps to go, but he is struggling and having a tough time. He got that right rear into the wall. He is in trouble.
Now here's somebody else in trouble. Jeff Gordon is really falling back. He's all the way back to 15th spot after running as high as as 3rd and 4th earlier in the race. Vince, what's going on?
That's exactly right. The 24 of Jeff Gordon, he said, I don't know what you did to it, but it is not good. It is bad loose. And as you could tell by the way he's dropping down the leaderboard, he has got his hands full. Now, they know that they're going to have cars that'll struggle throughout the course of some of these runs. And Steve Letarte, the crew chief, said, just hang on. We got a long night as we got a yellow out on the track.
It is Sam Hornish again here bringing out the caution. Sam coming down and sliding sideways across the racetrack. And for the second time tonight, the 77 car will bring out the yellow flag.
Well, he slid a little further down the front straightaway that time.
Yeah, still, he's got a little scrape on the right side, but other than that, I'm not sure he's got a lot of damage. Haven't seen the other side of the car. Yeah, it looks fine. He's just got flat tires again.
Part of a tire carcass coming off his car. You see the left rear tire was also flat as he came by.
That could have been what created that problem.
Yeah, because
right
you see that tire carcass laying where it is on the racetrack could have started this. He had a tire going down, and yeah,
he's all the way off the corner there.
Turned around right there on the straightaway. See the piece of the tire laying up against the wall. Like Denny Hamlin just missed it.
I think Ray Everett and caution flag, and they will all take a chance to come down and get some fresh Goodyears. Dave.
Doc Casey Kane gives up second place. He called his car better. They will raise the track bar just a little bit more. They will take a little more air pressure out of the right rear for him, full of Sunoco fuel before he leaves. Vince?
The 5-car of Mark Martin, he says he is completely out of control. They're making a track bar adjustment going down one round and a tire pressure adjustment as well. Jamie Little?
The last changes for Jimmy Johnson gave him more grip, and he said he needs more forward bite. They're going to make a wedge adjustment, more tires and fuel. Jimmy is away, Shannon.
Jamie, Martin Truex Jr. says the car is still good, a little bit snug. It starts off, but then it starts to free up. He lost one pit road spot last pit stop. See how he gets off this one.
So Kyle Busch will be able to be the first car off of pit road. So a little move there by the 18 guys.
I think they got for it. I think they just did a great job on pit road and got him out there. He's going to get 5 bonus points, which is going to be very important to him. His pit crew did a fantastic job for him last night, and the driver has to do his part. This is a difficult pit road. The pit boxes aren't huge, so obviously Kyle's doing a really good job of getting himself situated in there where the crew can do their job.
Andy, we heard guys talking about 4 tires, but also needing forward bite as you watch the 17 continuing to make repairs here. What do you do to get forward bite on these cars?
Well, you just got to start spinning some jack screws. You play with combinations, the track bar, the wedge, spring rubbers. You can add spring rubbers to the left rear. Sometimes, though, when you got a track this slick, you can over-adjust this thing trying to get it tight and actually make it worse. So, seeing a lot of that happening. Maybe that's what happened to Jeff Gordon.
Green back here at Atlanta Motor Speedway, and it is Kyle Busch who is now the 3rd leader of the night. Kyle got the lead coming off pit road and has now led 2 laps. It is Busch, Truex, Kane, Johnson, and Denny Hamlin in the top 5.
And he did choose that inside line. As you can see, Martin Truex getting really loose there. Denny Hamlin got up under his rear bumper.
Here comes Johnson with a big run down the backstretch. And Kyle Busch has got a huge lead over there in 3 and 4 already.
This is the battle for second spot here, and Johnson will take that position away.
That's the first time we've really seen the inside lane be such a good lane to be in on these restarts for these double file restarts. Check out this 21 car, David Gilliland, man. He is having a great run so far.
Subbing for Bill Elliott in the Wood Brothers car, and after Bill broke 3 ribs in a dirt bike accident. More on the 21, Dave.
And then we're told about that on Thursday. That's when Gilliland got the call, Doc. They already had the car loaded, so they pulled it back. They put some extra padding on Bill's seat, and they even extended the pedals, welded some extensions in there for David Gilliland, just so he would fit in there. Won't be the most comfortable ride, but so far he's making it look good.
Indeed he is, Dave, and he is a hot commodity. Gilliland, we're being told, may run a 4th Joe Gibbs car for 3 races here later on in the season, so certainly his talent showing through well.
Now, he's been steadily moving forward this entire race, and they made a good pit stop. They did lose a couple of spots on pit road, but they're still maintaining their competitive position on the racetrack. See right here, man, he is right between some really good cars. Mark Martin and Carl Edwards.
You see, Jeff Gordon was in that mix. Hopefully he got his car a little bit better than what he had the last time. See the 9 car making his way back towards the front here.
That is 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Truex is 3rd, and side by side for 4th and 5th. Denny Hamlin trying to hold off the charge of Casey Kane.
Yeah, the last pit stop, we heard a lot of teams were undoing some of the changes they made on that first pit stop because they were trying to get these cars tighter, get more rear grip, like we were talking about that forward bite. But sometimes there's just so much available. You try to go get more, and all you can do is just unhook the other end of the car, and then make the thing a lot worse. So I think that happened to a lot of cars, a lot of drivers during that last run, and now we're hearing that a lot of teams undid those changes. There's Reed Sorensen working just on the inside now of David Gilliland.
Reed Sorensen is a native Georgia boy from Peachtree City, Georgia. Made his very first career start here at Atlanta. Had his first career top 10 at this racetrack. And here comes Dale Earnhardt Jr. now. Out on the inside of the 24 car, trying to take that spot away. That is 13th position.
Yeah, the last few weeks have been a lot better for this race team, with Junior getting more acclimated to each other and to these cars. been doing a good job. Had a nice run in the nationwide race last night, so a little confidence booster for the driver also.
We mentioned he's coming off back-to-back top 10 finishes. Finished third at Michigan, finished ninth at Bristol, and almost didn't finish here tonight if he doesn't get that one back in.
That's the thing that we've been seeing, the drivers, as they try to make that pass on the inside, they have to really be careful. Most of these cars are just so loose right now. If they try to overdrive them, getting down into the center, get back to the throttle too soon, really gets them out of shape.
Jimmy Johnson now moving in on the 18 of Kyle Busch. Johnson has not led a lap tonight. It has been Truex who was the pole sitter twice for 58 laps. Kyle Busch has now led the last 9 laps, and Casey Kane led 3 laps.
Guys, it's not too surprising. We talk about how loose all of these cars are. The two guys that come to mind when you think about driving these things loose, Kyle Busch and Jimmy Johnson battling for the lead right now. It wasn't long ago we were talking about how out of control Jimmy Johnson was, and here he is trying to take the lead.
I think he's still out of control. He's just fast. He's not let up a single bit, though. You can see he's driving up on the outside now, trying to drive on the outside of Kyle Busch.
I think this is a lot of times where Jimmy Johnson doesn't get enough credit for hanging on to that car early when it was so loose, and then getting it adjusted and now taking advantage of that. Even though it's still extremely loose, he's able to make that high line work.
Now, two distinct look at that car. That 48 is still loose, but it's fast. He makes the pass on Kyle Busch.
You think Tom Cruise came on and told him about that? Loose was fast, like you said?
Jimmy Johnson officially scored as a leader last time by.
Johnson has opened up a 2-second lead on Kyle Busch. He took the lead at lap 72, and just a few laps later, here he is with that 2-second lead. The Miller Lite Taste Greatness Spotlights. The 3-time consecutive champ, who, if you look at those numbers, is doing better than he did last year when he won that 3rd consecutive title.
And that is scary. I mean, they're getting ready for the Chase playoff coming up right after Richmond to march towards that 4th championship. But what's even more impressive is Jimmy Johnson on all mile-and-a-half tracks has a 9th place finish average, which is outstanding.
Now, Jimmy, one of the guys who's locked in his place in the chase for the Sprint Cup. Guy trying to race his way in is Clint Boyer. And this isn't going so well for Clint here tonight. He's 32nd and a lap down.
Oh, yeah, this car is big time loose right now. I've talked about it a little bit about what they've been doing. So Shannon Spake just told us they put a lot of adjustments in that left rear spring, dropped the track bar down to the right side. He's just screaming loose right now, like you said, Alan, a lap down. And now this is a fellow that we thought had an outside chance to get in the chase. He was in 15th position coming into this race. So right now he's even out of the top 15.
And that was Richard Childress Racing's only hope to get in the chase. And he is one of the guys that we talked about. He's going to be behind that magic 162-point mark and could be eliminated tonight if he doesn't get that thing up front.
But just what you...
Thank you, Tim. And it is Carl Edwards in the 99 car as we have caution now being shown for the 3rd time tonight.
Smoke under the hood there.
Yeah, puff of smoke coming out of the side of the car as he came rolling, comes sailing down pit road.
He's speeding down pit road, so this is probably not going to be a good situation for the 99 team.
Time forward, let's lift forward and look everything over.
It's like oil on that right front tire, too.
So the hood up on the 99 car, and we were just talking about how good luck is good for some, and of course Carl Edwards struggling here tonight, has not won yet in 2009 after winning 9 races a year ago. But Carl's bad fortune is a good fortune for the 33 car. Clint Boyer is going to be able to get the free pass, and he will be able to get back on the lead lap. He gets the Lucky Dog free pass. Let's listen in.
Check your gauges here, buddy. Check your gauges. Yeah, something ain't right, guys. Yeah, just don't wreck that thing. It's an oil line or something here. Yellow's out. Yellow's out.
Well, that's when a spotter really does help right there.
Let's go down to Dave.
Leader Kyle Busch, actually 2nd place, not bad, just a little bit loose. They'll make a track bar and air pressure adjustment. Jamie.
The leader was Jimmy Johnson. He said, I loved that last change. It was a wedge adjustment. He said, a little more of that will help me out. I need a little more grip. 4 tires, Shannon. Martin Truex Jr. says he needs forward bite. These are the first adjustments on this car all night. 4 tires, track bar, and air pressure for Martin Truex Jr. as the field comes down off pit road, guys.
The race off again, and guess who, guys? The 18 car beats them all. Kyle Busch gains a spot, changed 4 tires. And Andy, we talked about how important pit selection was. Not only great pit work, but Kyle Busch had a great spot.
Well, they're getting it done on pit road. They've got that first pit stall, and it seems to be paying off for them.
Set for the restart once again. It is Kyle Busch with great pit work. He led him off pit road. He has chosen the inside lane here on the double file restart. Jimmy Johnson.
The dumbest thing I've done tonight.
Yeah, you can see the numbers comparing the pit times of the 2 cars. Not much, but just enough to get that spot. Just 0.7 of a second.
Casey Kane moving to the outside of the 11 car. The 11 spun the tires, and Casey gives the spot back.
Yeah, you see some of the cars, even Mark Martin spun the tires on that restart. It's just so little grip out there. Even with new tires, it's hard to get going.
Biff joined our coverage. We've had 3 caution flags tonight for a total of 13 laps, and here is a scramble up front. There's a 12 car. David Stremme trying to go on the outside of Mark Martin. 42 of Juan Pablo Montoya is there. Reed Sorensen in front of that group in the 43 car having a good run. And Dale Earnhardt Jr. has already scraped the wall once, running that typical Earnhardt highlight.
See him racing with Brian Vickers there. Vickers had slid back a little bit. He's got to get that thing righted if he's going to still give himself a chance to get into the chase. See Kevin Harvick and Jeff Burton, teammates there, battling each other.
This is back 14th, 15th, 16th, and 17th as you look back at Burton and Harvick behind them. What a struggle it has been this year for Richard Childress Racing, but they made an announcement this week. They're going to make some adjustments in terms of the competition department there.
They're going to take Scott Miller and move him from the crew chief spot on that 31 over to the competition director, making a few more changes there, too, to try to help the performance of that team.
See Jeff Gordon going in a different direction than when we checked in with him a little while ago. He's moving back forward, takes that spot away from Kurt Busch. He moves back up into the 5th spot.
He was probably one of those teams we heard undoing some of the changes they made on that first stop.
Here's David Stremme battling David Rudeman.
They've been side by side for a couple of laps now.
Yeah. Stremme having a good run here tonight. His car looks really solid.
That's 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, and 15th on the screen. By the way, David Stremme was announced this week that Brad Keselowski would take over this car number 12 in 2010. Jamie.
Well, it's been interesting for Brian Vickers. His car was really loose. They made an air pressure wedge adjustment. Now they've gone back. Their car is exactly the way they started it. He said it's so tight, it feels like a pogo stick. We're going to keep working on this car to hopefully go forward.
He was really having to work right there. Montoya really got down on his quarter panel there as they were down in the middle of 3 and 4. And Vickers was having to squeeze out of the throttle a little bit as he fights back now to the inside.
Well, we are just shuffling this bubble around here. Guys trying to get in the chase. Remember, it is tonight and next Saturday night at Richmond. That's all you got to be able to get in the chase for 2009. And Vickers is there. You see Montoya, guys shuffling up and back here every 5 or 10 laps.
It's changing every lap. We see it changing while we're watching it here. So this is just how tight it is on that bubble.
Yeah, this is what the season is about for these guys, getting in that top 12. That's the only guys that are going to have a chance to get into the chase and have a chance at winning a championship in 2009.
Yeah, this guy
now reassumed the top spot.
I tell you, Truex has been strong all night long. He kind of lost that spot to Kyle Busch just a little while ago, but this car, the handling of Martin Truex's car has been superior to seems like the rest of the field, Brad. And it looks like he's got his mojo going on tonight.
Yeah, he does. From qualifying to the start of the race, he's led over 60 laps tonight. That is the car to beat that number 1 car. Martin Truex is really strong.
Yeah, guys, it's looking like we saw last night. You know, we keep talking about the top momentum. The fast cars are on the bottom. Kevin Harvick really destroyed the field last night on the bottom. Looks like Martin Truex has got the hot car again on the bottom of the racetrack.
And while you watch Kyle Busch in the yellow car try and hold off Jimmy Johnson for second place, just a quick note, one thing Truex has got to work on his team, holding the lead on pit stops. Twice he's come down pit road tonight leading, and twice he's gone out not leading anymore. Big story tonight, Carl Edwards back in the garage area. Vince, what happened?
Well, it's one thing when you're trying to race with a broken foot and then you have mechanical problems. Something came up from the track. Some debris ruptured the oil cooler, so they've been furiously working to replace the radiator. Right now, they've got the new radiator in. They're going through the car just to make sure that they've got everything, all the hoses on tight. Bob Osborne, the crew chief, just reminding the team, make sure we haven't missed anything in a hurry to get the car back out. So Edwards will be going back out soon, but they've had a lot of work to do here in the garage to replace that radiator.
Thank you very much, Vince. And Andy, you can explain about how the relationship is there with the oil cooler and the radiator.
Well, not all teams run exactly the same cooling system, but typically you have a radiator and an oil cooler attached to each other. Sometimes you even have an intercooler inside the radiator that uses water to cool the oil. So, you know, that system is basically tied together. So that's why they're changing that whole thing. A little debris came up there and hit that thing. That's kind of unusual. You don't see that very much.
This group here is still racing. They've been racing for 20 laps with Reed Sorensen in there in Montoya. There's Vickers a part of that. Now you see Kevin Harvick's joined the mix.
See Kurt Busch right in front of him up there, and that's 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, all trying to move their way toward the top 5, and Montoya continuing to be aggressive in spite of the fact he needs sort of to hang on that top 12 spot in the points. We wondered if Montoya would race it or what he would pace it. I guess no question now. He's going to race his way into the chase.
Well, he's got to keep running hard here, and you see he's got that back end hung out. He's letting it all hang out here tonight.
Yeah, you can't hang back. I mean, you know, his whole goal is to get top 10 finishes, and that's what he's trying to do right now, even though he sits just outside the top 10 after Vickers passes him there. But he's doing, I think, exactly what he wants to do right at this point in time of this race.
Whoop, little give and take right there. You see Vickers sliding right up in front of Montoya.
Last 2 times out, Juan Pablo Montoya has run in the top 10 much of the day and had trouble in the final laps, like happened at Bristol, where he had a cut tire. With less than 40 laps to go, ended up logging a 25th place finish.
Ron Vickers looks like he has his car a little bit better now. It's taking a little time once again to come in, but he's able to make his way back into the top 10. Trying to take that ninth spot away from Kurt Busch, who was, again, our winner here back in March. See Vickers trying to make that bottom work, but Montoya gets such a run.
Thread the needle right there. Had some momentum. He wanted a place to take it. No, got a caution, guys. Don't see anything.
There's the 13 car.
Oh, there it is.
And he had just come off of pit road a moment ago with a vibration. Max Pappas.
Don't even worry about it. So these other cars come. 3 more, 2 more, 1 more, and then you're clear to the bottom. So you get it down. All clear. Get it to the bottom.
And Max has hit a ton with his Toyota, so that brings out caution now for the 4th time tonight.
Whoa, man, that thing took a right-hand turn abruptly.
It looks like something broke
there.
Yeah,
something broke. Either a tire went flat, blew a right front, or something broke. Man.
So the leaders will come back on the pit road. They last pitted on lap 83. That's 21 laps ago. As they come down, let's go down to Dave Burns.
Kyle Busch gives up 3rd, calls his car so junk after 10 laps. They'll remove air pressure all the way around and put some wedge in the left rear to try to help Kyle.
24 of Jeff Gordon coming in. Gordon says the car's still a little bit tight in the center and the back end is swinging out. Says it's awesome the first couple of laps, then it tightens up. They're going to make an air pressure adjustment with 4 fresh tires. Jamie?
Jimmy Johnson said he has front grip now. He can use a little rear grip, 4 tires and fuel. He asked for a wedge adjustment. They opted not to do it, Shannon.
Martin Truex just a little bit free at the end of that run. They're going to make an air pressure adjustment and 4 tires as the 18 comes down pit road, guys.
A 13.5-second stop for Kyle Busch's bunch, and Bo Johnson and Gordon were in the 14-second category, so Kyle Busch will gain 2 spots. Truex back 1, Johnson back 1, and Kurt Busch up a couple of positions with his Dodge team gaining him up to 7th position. So again, the guys on pit road in the 18 pit. Steve Addington and company getting it done on pit road. Back for checking the toe in, by the way, under the 88 car, where he had just brushed the wall to make sure Earnhardt Jr.'s car was okay. Getting set for the restart, and Kyle Busch will come down. And all these guys spinning the tires a little bit on the restarts here, Andy.
Yeah, but getting going pretty good. We don't see anybody losing a ton of ground. We saw Kyle Busch choose the inside and the outside lane for these restarts.
Yeah, Denny Hamlin getting a real run right here. going to try to take the lead away from his teammate.
Denny Hamlin has not led a lap tonight. Running back in second spot, there comes Tony Stewart now on the bottom of the racetrack inside of Jimmy Johnson for position. That's for fifth spot.
Well, look at this guy back here. Matt Kenseth down on the bottom side of a 3-wide battle.
It's not the kind of situation Matt Kenseth wants to be in, but he's having to put himself in that. He tries to battle back from being way back in the pack.
He has come from 31st position to 19th, and here comes the 11 car of Hamlin.
Kyle Busch's car extremely loose, and here comes Denny Hamlin for the lead.
Like Denny's getting his car adjusted now. He's been pretty good all night long. We've seen him run right up against the wall, down on the bottom now. So Mike Ford doing a nice job of adjusting that for Denny.
And you see Jeff Gordon now moving back into the picture into the top 4 after kind of dialing himself out after that first pit stop. Steve Letarte and the crew have dialed him back in now.
These guys continue to run together here. 83, 42, and 9. They are 10th, 11th, and 12th position. Here's Casey Kane. Now looking to the inside of Montoya.
Yeah, and all three guys fighting, trying to get themselves situated in that top 12. So these guys are not only battling for tonight, but for the entire season. See Casey Kane's car. It looks like he's going to get a little bit loose there, but he did a nice job of hanging on to it and being able to stay beside Montoya.
Casey Kane's a former winner here at Atlanta. He has run really well in the spring, but he has been abysmal here in the fall races, finishing 30th or worse in 3 of the last 4 fall events at Atlanta. Just for some reason, this race doesn't suit Casey very well.
Well, he got really loose there with Joey Logano right up on his back bumper, too, as he was still on the inside of Montoya. You see, he lost quite a few car lengths to Montoya.
Kevin Harvick's got a great view of the 20 car, trying to make a move inside of Kane. That's Joey Logano. That is for position. That would be for 12th spot.
And I was watching Jeff Burton come off of turn 4 right now. I've seen him about 3 times now come off of there sideways, but he's hung on to it every time. I don't know how he's doing that. He's in the middle now.
He's about to get run over, and he almost got run over coming off turn 4, like you said. There comes Bobby Labonte in the picture in the 71 car, and he's having a great run so far tonight. This is actually about as far back as we've seen him. He's been in the top 20 most of the night.
569th consecutive start for Bobby Labonte, the 2000 Series champion. He is the winningest active driver at this racetrack. He's won 6 times. 5 of those wins have come on the new configuration racetrack. And Bobby, by the way, would have been out of the week this week because they had put a rookie in the 96 car, Eric Darnell, but they decided to let Bobby drive the 71 car for 7 races here during the remainder of the season.
Here we got a change for 3rd place. Here comes Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson with a nice run on the outside. I think Jimmy Johnson's going to try to get both of these cars off of this corner through the middle, but it looks like Jeff Gordon's going to have the momentum.
Looks like Truex car struggling just a little bit. And I talked to a number of drivers that talked about that the sets of tires, that they didn't have any complaints with the tire, but that they went from set to set, that their car would change without making any changes to the car itself. So that was a little bit of concern if they were going to see that throughout the night.
Tony Stewart trying to move in on this group as well. You see Jimmy Johnson now going downstairs and going around the 24 car of Jeff Gordon for 3rd position, and you can see the 14 car now trying to reel this group in.
And Jimmy's got a great car tonight, too. I mean, he's been kind of up and down just a little bit, like you said, with those sets of tires, but he's overall had probably the strongest car. And Clint Boyer still struggling with this 33 car.
Yeah, he's really off the pace right now.
He had gotten the lucky dog to get back on the lead lap, and now being shown back up in 15th in the points, but really slow, and he will head to pit road.
Yeah, he must think he has a tire down or something.
Can't see one obviously down. Uh-oh, they're here now. It's got a loose wheel from the last pit stop.
And can't take any chances with that.
So this will cost him laps under the green flag. He was running back in 32nd position as the last car on the lead lap, and now he will lose at least a lap. Shannon.
Well, guys, this has been one awful night for Clint Boyer. The car has been horrible all night, loose all night. They've been making major changes, and just when it seems like it was just coming to him, it started to get loose again, and now this, a loose wheel for Clint Boyer, looking to make the chase. This is not good for his chase hopes, guys.
It is hard to believe that all three RCR cars made the chase last year and the year before, and none of them probably will be in the chase this year.
Shows you how competitive this sport is. Lose just a...
Carl was hoping to lock himself into a spot tonight, but he's going to make for a 10th week once again, as we see Jimmy Johnson take the lead from Denny Hamlin.
Jimmy Johnson had led once earlier tonight for 12 laps, and now reassumes the lead here on lap 127.
Denny's not ready to give that lead up quite yet. About a dead heat at the start-finish line, but I think Hamlin will be credited with leading that lap.
Well, we're seeing so many wide chassis changes just over a period of a few laps. Some guys will just go to junk. Others will get better and better over 5 or 10 laps.
Well, that's what you have when you have a track like this that has so little grip as you wear the tires. It's so abrasive on the tire. And when it does that, if you can, if your car is abusing one end or the other, your car can go away to teetotal junk in just a few laps. We've kind of seen that with Kurt Busch. He's been able to go fast for 5 or 6, 7 laps, but then he just goes off terribly loose, and now we don't even see him in the picture hardly here.
31 car coming down pit road, and we are being told debris up in turn 3 is the reason for the caution flag.
Here, there's a vibration on Jeff Burton's car, and that's why he's coming down pit road. He is going to go down a lap as the leaders come by.
Yeah, and he actually almost beat Jimmy Johnson. That start-finish line stretches all the way across into the pits, but I believe that Jimmy Johnson still got there first and put Burton a lap down.
Some debris on the racetrack there. NASCAR has spotters out and take a look at it. You can't tell if it's rubber or plastic. You want to make sure it isn't metal.
And sometimes they say they'll see something on the track and they'll say, well, it's out of the groove. Well, tonight the groove runs from wall to wall.
That's right.
So they have to keep the track clean.
Yeah, Busch started that run as the leader. He fell back to 4th. He said, call me crazy, but maybe we make this loose car a little bit looser so I can drive it better. Track bar will go up, a little bit of air pressure in the right front to balance that out. Vince?
24 car of Jeff Gordon. Jeff says it's the best it's been all night through the center, but it's a little bit loose off, so they're going to make a slight air pressure adjustment and 4 fresh Goodyears. Jamie?
Jimmy Johnson's feedback has been incredible. He's saying he's inconsistent, though, through the center, but he was worried if they adjusted it was freed up too much, but they did make a track car adjustment, 4 tires, Shannon.
Right side air pressure and wedge adjustment for Denny Hamlin in the 11. He says it's just a little bit free, guys. Here we come. Race off pit road. Looks like the 24 got it.
Quickest stop of the night there by Jeff Gordon's bunch, 13.3 seconds. You see the result. He gains a couple of spots on pit road.
Boy, it started out great. You saw that right side. They were really fast on the right, got around there, made a great pit stop, and gets the lead off pit road.
Kurt Busch also gaining 4 positions there with the 2 car getting a job done. Well, let's go over the wall with Mark Hall.
Different scenarios here as far as these drivers. I think they don't know exactly which one may be an advantage. If there is an advantage, I think it just totally depends on what the driver likes right now.
A couple of Chevys up high, a couple Toyotas on the inside. We'll see who will get the advantage.
Even with new tires, it's hard to take off here. You have to really be careful not to spin the tires. Denny Hamlin looks like he's got this thing figured out on these restarts.
I think overall we've seen that inside lane get the advantage on the restarts.
Hamlin pulling Gordon by a couple of things now, make it 4 car lengths down the backstretch.
Is Jimmy Johnson fighting back on the outside here. Get that 3rd spot away from Kurt Busch.
It's like it takes Jimmy Johnson a few laps to kind of get that car corralled and aimed in the right direction before he starts making his way back to the front. He's been in a controlled slide really since the race started, but he's controlled that slide pretty well by driving into the lead after they run a few laps on tires.
Give a call to Joey Logano. You see him on the right side of your screen there, moving in the 20 car. The 19-year-old rookie having a very good run here at Atlanta.
Yeah, he's doing an excellent job. His pit crew picked him up 4 spots on that last caution period there, so that's always nice. You see Montoya taking that spot away from him now.
3 of the top 6 are all Gibbs cars, so having a great night overall as a team.
Looking back from Juan Pablo Montoya's Dodge Chevy, pardon me, after he took away the 6th position. And the 1 car up near the concrete, not sure if he got it, but he went all the way up against the wall, came very close.
Well, he's not the only one. I've seen a bunch of them up there tonight.
He's really fallen back. He's back in the 17th spot, somewhere he hasn't been all night. He's been up in the top 5 the entire night. See right behind him is Matt Kenseth. His pit crew did a nice job. He had fallen back outside the top 20, but he's trying to battle back once again. They're still fighting some handling issues with that car.
Well, that could be the comeback of the night for Kenseth. Here comes Jeff Gordon, the 24 car, now trying to take the lead.
Well, you hear the fans over there in turn 3 cheering Jeff on. He gets it done, gets the pass made off of turn 4.
There's the 29 car of Kevin Harvick, who was in the top 10 when he came on the pit road a moment ago and had some issues on pit road, and now being shown back in 14th position.
He's coming forward. He's actually had a pretty decent car all night. It's not that he's been up in the top 5 battling, but he's been working his way up here.
He's got a good view of Junior up there against the wall. I mean, you can't hardly put a piece of paper between that 88 car and the wall.
Harvick probably like to take his nationwide car from last night and race these boys as bad as that thing was, huh?
That thing was so fast last night.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. finishing 3rd here in the NASCAR Nationwide Series race behind Kevin Harvick and Kyle Busch.
Once again, see David Stremme in this mix also. He's having a really good night as he takes the spot away from Casey Kane. We're trying to take the spot away.
Yeah, Stremme has hung in the top 15 much of the night, and up front they continue to swap back and forth. Jeff Gordon, Denny Hamlin, and now Hamlin goes all the way down to that yellow line and bobbles a little bit.
That bottom lane is very, very bumpy. And that's why it's so hard to stay down there.
So you really have to, when you're entering turn 1, you try to drive outside of those bumps so it doesn't upset the car too much. Then you really get some bumps as you come out of turn 2. There's not a lot of bumps up there where Junior's running. There are some spots. You can see that car really loose. He's really driving this car, doing a great job.
It's rolling over and spinning out off a little bit.
See, down in turn 1 and 2, he goes back to the bottom of the racetrack. See, things kind of reversed.
Man, that thing's out of control, though.
Here comes Mark Martin on the move.
Taking the 6th spot from Tony Stewart is Martin. See in front of him, there's the 42 of Montoya up in 5th.
Both those guys doing exactly what they need to do tonight. Good, solid runs. They don't want to have to just fight all night at Richmond next Saturday night to get themselves situated in the chase. Montoya and Mark are both well in the top 10 here.
If Mark Martin were to get into the chase, and he should be right now, he could be the #1 seed with his 4 wins if Kyle Busch does not make it. Jeff Gordon, our leader, back in a moment.
He's going to blow right by both of these guys.
You can see Gordon's really started to struggle here. His car was fast there for about 25, 30 laps, and now he's starting to fall off some. Denny Hamlin's making his way back to him. Don't know if he's going to get the lead back before Kevin Harvick passes him, though.
Got to believe Kevin Harvick is hungry to lead a lap. He has led only 1 race all year long. That was 9 laps at Las Vegas. None since.
That's a long dry spell for Harvick.
There's Hamlin taking the lead back as they get to turn 1. But Kevin Harvick is really moving, Jamie.
Well, I'll tell you, a lot of confidence going to victory lane last night. He actually learned a lot of things. He told me some things he learned last night that he could put into this race tonight. What was that? Well, they made adjustments last night, anticipating some changes. They didn't work. They ended up going back to how they started the race. That's exactly what they've done tonight. They didn't make any changes the last 2 stops. He knows what's going to happen with this racetrack. It's working out. The last stop, though, they dropped the lug, went back a little bit, but he is on fire. And
For the 24 of Jeff Gordon, as you see him right there in the mix of that threesome for the battle for the lead. Gordon says the car is loose off, and obviously the positions are starting to fall away from him as Hamlin and Harvick have gone by. But Steve Letarte, very calm on the radio, the crew chief, telling Gordon, hey, we just passed the halfway point in the race and the halfway point on these tires. We got a long way to go. Hang in there, be patient. We're good. We'll be back. You got to believe that Gordon's car, the way it's been tonight, they will be.
See the 83 now moving into the picture. Brian Vickers. We talked about how he was trying to get into the chase. 39 points out headed into the night, and now the 83 car being shown just 8 points back of being in the top 12. There is Brian Vickers, and what a run he has had the last 7 or 8 races.
It really has, and even tonight he made a real run at the beginning of the race, but then he kind of fell back. Looked like they made some wrong adjustments, but they've made the right ones now, as you see him trying to take that 3rd spot away from Jeff Gordon.
I'll tell you, this run by Harvick is still amazing. Since the restart, he has gained 17 positions to take the lead. I mean, he has really got his car rolling. Great battle for second.
Oh, right up against the wall. He takes that 2nd spot away. And as of right now, if things quit, he would have himself in that 12th spot in the chase. So he's doing exactly what he's had to do, race his way in there. And they've made the adjustments, and Brian Vickers doing a great job.
Brian Vickers has never made the chase. This is the 6th year in NASCAR's playoff format. It's going to be a landmark year for him, coming off the great runs he's had the last 5 or 6 weeks in a row. While these cars are moving toward the front, one car that's been really struggling and starting to drop back a little bit is Jimmy Johnson here in the 48.
This is by far the worst run for Jimmy. Oh my gosh, look at that car get sideways. I don't know how he holds on to that.
Yeah, I think this is going back, and we see Vickers going forward. We see Harvick going forward. Jimmy Johnson going backwards. We're just seeing, I think, it's the different sets of tires these guys put on, and probably the racetrack changing a little bit as it's even cooling down more. We see David Streamy trying to take that 10th spot away from Jimmy Johnson right now.
Yeah, David Streamy having a good solid run tonight.
$172 laps in the books here at Atlanta Motor Speedway, so we are past the halfway mark. Jimmy Johnson struggling a little bit, and is this guy, Kevin Harvick, that is looking like the Kevin Harvick of old. As Harvick came out of pits in 15th position and is now being shown as our leader.
Smiling when the back end just got free there, wasn't he?
He's probably smiling after it didn't spin out, I'll guarantee you. But man, he's doing his job, and just goes to show you, a lot of people out here were questioning Junior, his commitment and driving ability and all of that, as we watch him really work at Throttle through there. But
look at
Junior
this.
showing he can get the job done. There's our pole sitter getting lapped by Kevin Harvick.
That's this car. That one car has just fell off the map the last few laps.
Yeah, hard to believe Martin Truex, who led 3 times for 68 laps, has suddenly gotten so bad. Let's listen in.
So loose. Look, I got flat rear tires. Got no rear grip at all. None. Zero. Reckon getting in a corner and plowing in the middle. I don't know. Something's wrong with the car. The only way to fix it, I think, is to stop and start over. I can't figure it out.
They did make a track bar in that last pit stop, track bar adjustment to try to help the handling, but this car is just bad. They're thinking about coming down pit road about lap 187 to try to get it fixed up for Martin Truex Jr., but he is hanging on out there.
Hanging on is the key word. That's just, man, you get this thing there. Look how loose the race car is. We talk about everybody being loose, but that car is just ready to wreck.
Man.
And this car ran in the top 5 all night long until this particular run, and now he's gotten lapped.
And the 48 also just barely hanging on, DJ. He has been sideways the last 2 times he's come off the corner.
Now, this is one of the longest green flag runs we've had. They're going to actually have to make a green flag pit stop here in the next 10 laps.
How much slower he is than Kevin Harvick. 5 miles an hour slower that last lap than what Kevin Harvick, our leader.
The fastest lap tonight is about 30.5 seconds, and we see 34-second laps now, so the times have really fallen off. Jamie?
Well, let's see if we can assess this, Andy. Before the last pit stop, Jimmy Johnson came in and he said, okay, I need some rear grip. So he pitted, put 4 tires on it, but they made a wedge adjustment and a track bar adjustment. Now he says the car is just tight, and then it gets snappy loose on him. You don't agree with that, do you, Andy?
Well, I just saw the changes they made. They made a track bar adjustment. They actually lowered the track bar and took wedge out of the car. And, you know, you never know what's going to work and what's not. You just have to try it and see, and obviously this is not working, and Chad Knaus cannot wait to get this car back in the pit stall to undo some of that.
And what they did couldn't make the car do exactly what they're talking about. Tight in the center with the track bar down. Doesn't allow the car to turn as good, but you've got wheel in it, and then with the wedge out, you're losing grip on the exit of the corner. So they're probably going to go back on that and possibly even go the other way. We've known Chad Knaus to go 3 or 4 rounds the other way just to see if that fixes it.
See, now you see Jeff Gordon struggling. Now Greg Biffle's on pit road. Dave?
And he was running in about the 24th position, trying to short pitch just a little bit. Reed Sorensen on pit road just in front of him. For Biffle, the car's still loose. They will take a rubber out of the left rear, however, but they will put wedge into the left rear to try to make this car better for Greg. This is about where he struggled all night, mid-20s, after qualifying 26. It's been a long night.
Well, that's the thing. You're going to try a lot of things, different combinations. You're going to do things, unconventional things, because the cars are just so out of control. Here comes Truex, man. He's ready to get something done with this car.
Oh, these drivers are ready to get on pit road and get some fresh tires and just have a little bit of relief, and hopefully their crew chiefs are going to make something that makes it, or do something to their car that makes it feel better.
Finally coming down. Let's go down to Shannon.
Well, it is going to be a chassis adjustment for the one car. They have got to tighten them up. Martin Truex Jr. can hardly hang on to this car. You see that wrench in the back window. It's also going to be 4 tires. He said he felt like he had no air pressure in those rear tires. That's how loose he was, just sliding all over the racetrack. Started off with a great car, Vince.
The 17 of Matt Kenseth. Remember, he came in on 12th on the bubble, and they've had adjust on that car all night long. A little bit loose. 4 tires and an air pressure adjustment. Shannon.
Tony Stewart also not happy with the car. He said he felt like he had a tire out of balance. He said it wasn't loose, just out of balance. It was messing up his world. 4 tires for the 14 car, guys.
18 of Kyle Busch is on pit road. That car loose. They will make air pressure adjustments for Kyle. As they go around to the left side, that'll be a 4-tire stop, packet full of fuel, and they'll put a spring rubber into the left rear to try to tighten that car up. Vince.
The 39 car of Ryan Newman. His car has been inconsistent throughout the course of the night. A little tight here, a little loose there. He said he didn't like that last set of tires, so they gave him 4 fresh tires. Dave.
Casey Kane is in just a tick down on the track bar, just a little bit loose. Casey had been running in the 8th position. This crew going to work now on the left side. They finish up as we go back to Vince.
The 24 car of Jeff Gordon, he said he just felt like it was plain worn out. He said it's loose and tight. They're making an air pressure adjustment to give him some more comfort. Jamie.
And Jimmy Johnson was having all those problems. You see the wrench in the back. They are going back on those changes from the last pit stop. 4 tires. See if this is going to help for Jimmy, but they're taking a long time on that left side. Now he's down and away, Vin.
The 5 car of Mark Martin has been real strong tonight, running up around the top 5. He told his team, don't overdo it. The car is okay. Let's see what happens. 4 tires and fuel, a little bit of an air pressure adjustment for the 5 car of Mark Martin. Shannon.
Well, I'm sure it doesn't surprise you to hear that Denny Hamlin is loose. They're going to make chassis adjustment, track bar, and wedge. 4 tires for the number 11 car. This team had such a great run going. The car is just loosening up. Jamie.
And your leader, Kevin Harvick, walked him up coming in. He came in hot. Second time this year. He has led laps here again. No changes. He's so happy with this car. You see him there going around to the left side, putting 4 tires on, filling it up with Sunoco fuel.
The 6-car David Reagan coming down. He is a pass-through penalty for being too fast on pit road. There's a 21 car of David Gilliland, who has had a good run for the Wood brothers. Vickers in. Jamie.
Well, they finally got this car the way he likes it, and that is loose all the way through the corner, so no adjustments for Brian Vickers. It's 4 tires, and guys, he did get those bonus points for leading the lap there.
Every point is so critical. Vickers getting those bonus points, and the 31 car also a pass-through penalty.
Yeah, we're seeing a few penalties, and a lot of cars having trouble getting on pit road and getting the car slowed down. When they lose so much grip in these tires, they just can't hardly get the car slowed down to get on pit road.
You see Harvick a minute ago, he really jammed those brakes on trying to get this car woed down from 170 miles an hour.
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't blow the left front tire out right here as hard as he was on the brakes. Sliding that left front, trying to get down to pit road speed.
Yeah, he was doing everything he could, downshift and everything.
The 6 car wasn't so lucky. Watch David Reagan hit the commitment cone there coming in.
Yep. And he's trying to get back down pit road here. He just about misses the whole pit road.
The second time was a penalty stop when he was trying to come in, and I still almost missed pit road.
Boy, that's frustrating.
David trying to hustle the car to be able to make up some time here at the home racetrack. Kevin Harvick having the kind of night he hasn't had in a long time. Harvick's last win, he got to go back 2 years ago at Daytona in the 500.
About that, we saw him sliding and
wrecking all night.
Yeah, this time he just actually spun.
Not a scratch, though. Look at that, huh?
Not yet. No, I'm okay. I think for right now. That was me spinning.
2-4. Nice and slow, bud.
So Jimmy Johnson goes for a spin and brings out caution number 6 on the night. And let's go upstairs to Doc, DJ, and Andy. No drama about the pit stops here, huh, Andy?
No, they're going to come get 4 more out. But, man, we have seen Jimmy Johnson spinning this car out all night. Finally, it's
and then it went loose. And now you're just loose, right?
Now it just went out there far enough to bring the caution out. It's loose.
Chad definitely going to believe him now.
He'll believe him.
Yeah.
You know it's a tough night when the champ.
The front end feels really alive for some reason. I don't know why it started so tight the last run, and now it's doing this. I can't explain that.
Huh. He was saying that his car actually started out really tight the last time. The adjustments.
So what happened is Jimmy Johnson looked way ahead there out in front of Carl Edwards onboard cameras.
Yeah, you can see he can get sideways.
Right here in front of you. Green is still out.
Does a great job not to hit anything. He went from the top all the way to the apron. Didn't lose a whole lot of spots right there. That's pretty good. Well, he's been doing it all night. He's been sliding sideways all night.
Says they've been wrecking all night. That's pretty good, Brad.
Yeah, he wins the drifting competition here at Atlanta Motor Speedway, sideways.
I'll give him a 9 on that one.
Kevin Harvick coming down pit road, as are the other leaders. Dave.
Casey Kane gives up 5th. The car was just a little bit loose. Half down on the track bar, half down on the left rear wedge. 0.2 of a pound of air pressure out of the right rear. Vince?
Dale Jr. says something that you don't hear too much on the radios tonight. The car is pretty comfortable. Don't do too much with it. 4 fresh tires, and away he'll go. Jamie?
Kevin Harvick loving this car. He's raced it 4 of the last 6 races. Finished 6th at the Brickyard. Tonight it's on fire. 4 tires sealed, no changes once again. Shannon.
Denny Hamlin says the car is still a little bit loose. They're going to go half round down on the track bar, 4 tires, and race off pit road, guys.
Well, that is a closer. Watch them coming off pit road there, 3 wide, almost 4 wide. And Harvick and Hamlin were very, very close. Harvick had momentum. Hamlin was trying to get the car up to speed. You see Earnhardt Jr. gaining a spot, as did Casey Kane. Vickers losing 2 positions.
See, Jeff Gordon's team still getting it done on pit road and trying to help his cause. Man, this is tight right here now. Harvick nips him.
So Kevin Harvick, for only the 2nd time this year, leading a race in NASCAR Sprint Cup competition. And not good news for Tony Stewart, where you're being told that they are missing a lug nut. They're going to have to come back on pit road.
That's a costly mistake right here. You see him struggling trying to get it back on, and the jackman let the car down, and the front tire changer just could not get that nut back up on there.
And also a guy who's pretty darn hungry, too. Kevin Harvick, 95 races since he last won the Daytona 500 back in 2007. He leads him down for the green flag.
And he chooses that outside lane. See Denny Hamlin spin the tires just a little bit on the inside. There's Casey Kane back up there. Casey gets a nice run off of turn 2.
See Earnhardt Jr. moving up. The 18 there is Kyle Busch, now trying to slide down to the inside.
He's trying to do that. Kane takes the lead from Kevin Harvick.
And Kenseth moved Kyle Busch just a little bit there. Kenseth made a nice recovery. I'm just so impressed of how they've recovered here after hitting the wall early and just totally out to lunch the first run.
The 17 car was back in 31st position at one time.
Yeah, and barely able to run 31st.
Looks like he might get moved back here by Kyle. He didn't like that little move.
Brian Vickers coming in behind Kyle Busch. And the 18 car of Kyle Busch gaining 5 positions in 1 lap. Still battling side by side for 6th spot.
Well, he's had a fast race car for about 10 laps, as Andy documented earlier. We'll see if they've got it fixed to where it'll run a little bit longer than that.
Now, he can make that thing fly for about 10, maybe 15 laps on the outside, but then it just goes off loose and he can't keep up. But he's making the most of these fresh tires right now.
Kenseth tried to move back to the inside. Here comes Vickers trying to make it 3 wide.
Wow. Check this out. Vickers gets the advantage.
Here comes Mark Martin back on the inside of the 18. A big-time battle for the bubble here. Remember, just one more race to go. Who's going to get in the chase? And these guys here battling 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th. More on the 18 car. Dave.
And it's been really tough for Kyle to help diagnose what it is about his race car that they can try to fix. The main issue is entering the corner too free, but once it gets in there, too tight. So that's the problem. How do you fix both sides of that? And that has been their issue all night.
There's Robbie Gordon, as you see. Had a pretty good night. He's in the 12th spot right now, battling Montoya for that spot. He at one time was a lap down in this race, but battled his way back.
And Montoya's been basically up and down all night. He's been up in the top 5, and now we see him outside the top 10, but he's had an up and down night.
And Robbie Gordon running 2 races in the same day, an off-road championship race up at Crandon, Wisconsin earlier today. That was shown on ABC. And then coming all the way to Atlanta to run the NASCAR Sprint Cup event.
Yeah, Jimmy Johnson's 48 car trying to get his mojo back after dialing it out the last run.
And when they rolled off a pit road, Paul Menard had come on the pit road at the beginning of the race to have the hood up on the 98 car. Now he has come all the way back to 16th position. Paul making his 100th career Sprint Cup start here tonight.
Yeah, they looked like they were going to have an engine problem at the beginning of this race, maybe a plug wire off or something like that, but whatever it was, it's obviously been fixed. He had to start at the rear of the field and he's done a nice job. This guy's doing a nice job too. Casey Kane, like he was shot out of a cannon in this restart.
Just over 100 laps to go here at Atlanta Motor Speedway under the lights on a Labor Day weekend.
Talked a lot about some of the chase bubble guys tonight. We've talked about some of the guys running up front. What about some of the other guys in the field just outside the top 10, Dave?
And who won the race in March and led 234 laps? Well, it wasn't David Stremme, but it was his teammate Kurt Busch, and that's where they started baseline setup for this car this weekend, and it has run in and outside the top 10 all day long. They went back on air pressure adjustment just 2 runs ago. Just a little bit tight for Stremme right now. Shannon?
This is Paul Menard's 100th Cup start. Didn't get off to a great start. Qualified 41st, came down pit road because he thought he had an unhooked front sway bar, but slowly been making his way through the field. Car was loose. They made some chassis adjustments, and now it's come alive. Vince?
The youngest Cup winner ever, Joey Logano. Not a winning setup tonight, but they have been good. They've been tweaking on the car each and every stop, and Joey has been getting better lap after lap after lap. He started 34th, currently running 16th. It's been a good night for the 20 team. An inexperienced driver, but a very experienced crew making a difference tonight. Jamie?
And in the 71, a new face, Bobby Labonte. He got a ride with this team. He'll be in this car for 7 races this season, and that keeps that consecutive streak alive. 569 car is good. He says it's a little bit tight. Behind him, Kurt Busch. Now, he brought back the same car he dominated here in the spring with. Similar setup, but with a different tire and night conditions. It hasn't worked out great. They made some big changes on the last stop. Took out some spring rubbers. Now he's hanging there 15th to 20th. Dave?
Reed Sorensen having a pretty good run tonight. His car did start out loose, but it's been tight on the last few runs. On this last stop, they just took 4 tires with a slight air pressure adjustment as he battles that low line. Now behind him, 16 of Greg Biffle, who has been fighting all night to try to keep this car in the chase. He's lost positions, or in chase contention, that is. On this last stop, they pulled a shim out of the right front suspension. They also made a wedge adjustment. The car was very, very loose. He was also the lucky dog that time, so he is back on the lead lap. Vince?
Ryan Newman currently running 21st. And remember, even though he was in a pretty solid position, 7th in points, he was just 84 ahead of 13th place. They weren't feeling all that secure, but felt if they just had a good, solid night, they'd be okay heading to Richmond next week. Shannon?
Well, it's been a solid season for the 14 of Tony Stewart, but his crew chief, Darian Grubb, says they still need to work on the little things, making little mistakes. Right now, tonight, they've made a little mistake. They had a lug nut problem they're trying to recover from, and now Tony Stewart is battling a loose race car. But they are working hard, and they are keeping on it, guys. Dave?
Yeah, the 21 of David Gilliland stayed out on the last round of caution, got the wave around, and as we said, has been running very good in a car that was not designed for him this week, but he jumped into it the last minute, has done a real formidable job of keeping it in contention. Alan?
All right, David, thanks. And while we updated you on some of the cars running in the lead lap, how about this race for the lead? Casey Kane in the 9, hanging on, but Harvick's digging.
Well, Harvick's been one of the most consistent out there tonight. He's been negotiating all the problems, the bumps, the slippery racetrack, and it looks like he's got himself back in the lead right now, guys.
Kevin Harvick is very hungry. He wants to get this race car to victory lane. He wants to be first tonight. And Casey Kane, he wants to chase spots solidified.
And just like last night, it takes him a little while to get going, but once he gets up to speed, he's there.
98 laps to go. Harvick back out front.
In the point standings and dominated a race here back in the spring, was being shown in the top 15 and now has had issues to bring out the yellow flag. The 43 of Reed Sorensen involved with Kurt Busch. There's a damage on Sorensen's Dodge.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Reed Sorensen's on the inside of Kurt Busch, and they got together coming out of turn 4 right here.
And you see Kurt Busch gets totally
sideways.
out of control.
Yeah.
And then that's when Reed Sorensen came to the scene. Really nothing Reed could do right there.
Yeah, he was getting ready to spin out till Reed Sorensen got there. We had quite a few laps on the tires there. As cars just continue to get loose and sideways for these drivers. It's unfortunate for Reed Sorensen, who's having a pretty good night, that he was just in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Forward of the entire car.
The leaders on pit road. Let's go down to Dave.
Casey Kane had picked up one spot on that run. They're going the same direction they have been going for a slightly loose race car. Down to the track bar, down on the left rear wedge. That's
Mark Martin right there in the middle of your screen. They said they need to free it up just a little bit. They're going to take a half round of wedge out for Goodyear tires, and Mark Martin having a good night tonight, and he needs it. Jamie.
And for the first time, Kevin Harvick said he's just a tick loose. He said just tighten me up. They're going to make an air pressure adjustment. They already did it. 4 tires and fuel. Shannon.
Denny Hamlin says he thinks they've gone a little bit far on the adjustment. It's a little tight. They're going to go up on the track bar, 4 tires and fuel.
Little issue on the left rear tire for Kevin Harvick will cost him the lead. In fact, he will lose 3 positions on pit road. Casey Kane gains a couple. Martin up 1 spot. Harvick, you see the loss. And what's going on in the 48 pit with Jimmy Johnson here?
Having to back into the pit stop.
Take it back into the garage.
Oh, no. They've broken something in the drivetrain, maybe. He's going back to the garage. Well, it looks like it's driving those.
Back there, change the axles, Joe.
Oh, one of the axles broke on after they let the car down.
That'll happen on this concrete when you let it down. You have to really be careful as a driver. You're trying to time that right when they drop the jack, but if you do it just almost, it sounds crazy, but if you do it perfectly, that's when that snaps that axle.
Those axles shouldn't take too long.
You can see the right rear axle is still intact. It's still driving the car, but the left rear is one that's obviously broken.
We've had a lot of our points, guys up in top of our points. Tony Stewart's having a tough night. Carl Edwards, Kurt Busch right there. He's back in the garage area.
Yeah, Kurt Busch back there trying to get this car repaired as he climbs out of his Dodge.
He's a little bit hot.
Guys, we're going to have from 5th all the way back through about 14th when we go to Richmond next week. Now, this is going to really be a nervous time for all of these guys. It looked like Carl Edwards and Kurt Busch were going to be okay, maybe even lock themselves in tonight. Now they're in big trouble.
Trouble for chase contenders here in the late laps. Back with more of the Pep Boys Auto 500 in just a moment.
Got out of there with that change of that axle and stayed on the lead lap. Good job by that team.
Yeah, we'll have to keep a watch on them and make sure they did get everything out of there, because that could eventually create another problem for them if they weren't able to do that.
Well, if you like what you're seeing tonight, folks, they got one more shot to get into chasing. It comes under the lights next Saturday night in Richmond, Virginia. It is the Chevy Rock and Roll 400 at Richmond. There have been 14 different winners in the last 15 Richmond fall races. Jimmy Johnson has won the last 2 in a row. Who will it be? Who will get in the chase? We will decide it all next Saturday night, 7 o'clock Eastern time on ABC. There's the 48 car coming back on the pit road during the restart as they start on the left of your screen. Montoya and Kane. And we're being told that Jimmy Johnson doesn't think the axle is fixed in his car. We'll update you momentarily.
And this 9 and 42 have had a little bit of history this year of getting together. The last thing either one of them need to do, though, is get together tonight.
Yeah, it's been mostly the 9 getting into the 42 in those things, and Montoya was a little perturbed about that situation, but you can see they got a clean start there. Casey Kane in the lead.
Look at Kyle Busch back here, guys. Been 3 wide, passing cars, and Junior up against the wall.
How about Matt Kenseth coming on the outside there? That's for the 4th spot. That's unbelievable.
I cannot believe what a job they've done tonight.
At the beginning of this race, no one would have given you a chance for Matt Kenseth to make the chase or get a top 25 finish, but he was back in 31st position.
And the only reason he wasn't further back than 31st, the other guys behind him were a lap down, or he had been further back because he couldn't outrun anybody at that point in time. What a great job by these guys and Matt Kenseth.
Losing a spot down to Jeff Gordon on the inside. Gordon is there, and here comes Mark Martin on the inside of Kenseth.
Yeah, Matt still doesn't have the greatest car, but he's doing a tremendous job, and as usual, his pit crew's doing a fantastic job. Look at up 3 and 4 spot.
Look at the back of that car. Right? You can see the back bumper falling off of it. They've been taping it back on. They've smacked the right side of the car hard early in the race, and now just making a great recovery. Matt's still digging hard.
Here comes Denny Hamlin trying to get his way back up there. You see Mark just on the outside who got loose there.
Yeah, Mark just got looks like he may have even gotten to the side of Denny Hamlin.
Let's update Kenseth Vince.
Well, one of the interesting things about this team is that they have undoubtedly been feeling the pressure of where they are positioned in the points race, 12th in the standings. But crew chief Drew Blickensderfer told me one of the things that's kept them calm and has reduced the tension is the even demeanor of Matt Kenseth. But I can tell you tonight, there have been a couple of times on the radio that demeanor wasn't so even. He has had an evil race car at times tonight, but they have continued to work on it. No one has gotten rattled in the seat or in the pit box, and this team has had a winning type effort tonight. Not a first place effort, but an effort that's going to be good enough as it goes now to keep them in position to make the chase, and that's huge considering the issues they've had.
No doubt about it, Vince. Matt Kenseth, Mr. Poise, Mr. Composure. He doesn't get rattled very easily, as evidenced by his performance tonight. There's the 18 car of Kyle Busch in 7th spot. Earnhardt Jr. is 8th. Rudeman back there in 9th. You see Kenseth above him there in 10th spot.
Look at Paul Menard, too. We've mentioned this already, but he had a problem on the start of the race and didn't take the green. Actually, he had to come off pit road to start at the tail end when they got the green. Doing a nice job.
Yeah, Robbie Gordon right there behind him has come from a lap down to just have a great run. Dave?
Yeah, I mean, Robbie Gordon was laps down and got the lucky dog on lap 105, and then the next 100 laps, he didn't lose that position. He's been banged up from a practice wreck in his off-road truck this week. He is now really loose, by the way, and as you see right there, as Joey Logano pressures him, he finished 6th in a race this weekend in his truck, and next weekend, though, he's going to go for that off-road truck championship in the SCORE International Series. David Gilliland is going to drive this car next week at Richmond, so that decision has been made. Gilliland a part-timer in the 21 this week and in the 7 next week.
Well, you see these guys battle, and right behind them, I'm going to give another call to Bobby Labonte in the 71 car. Just a tremendous job he's doing this race car. He's in 15th spot, just showing what a great race driver he really is.
It was not until Tuesday afternoon this week that Bobby Labonte would know he would even have a car to drive here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Kevin Buckler, who owns that car, they have 10 total employees doing it with very little sponsorship.
Okay, right here's the sleeper of the race, guys. Montoya is really digging on the outside. He may have the best car right now when it counts towards the end of this thing.
Well, let's update the 48 situation. Kane, a former winner here back in 2006, trying to hold on and break the jinx of having very poor finishes here in the fall race. And we're watching to see if Mark Martin can make this pass inside of his teammate. Martin coming off that second place finish in Bristol, Tennessee. And if the race were to end right now, Martin would actually move up at least one position in the point standings. 100 miles to go here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. 62 laps. They're chasing Casey Kane, the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series at Atlanta, presented by Pennzoil. Series action. Oh, trouble. Logano sideways. Clint Boyer barely getting by.
Get rolling here. Get rolling.
Looks like he might have a right rear tire down that could have caused that spin.
Looks like the right front's down too.
Got flat tires. Right rear.
Could have slid the flat spots in the tires and blew them out after he started spinning. And on fuel, I don't think there's a lot of drivers that want to try to make a 55 lap run to the finish though on these tires. Boyer just snuck by.
Wow. Just barely touches the wall there. See Clint Boyer. You have to make a decision right there as a driver. Clint decided to go to the outside. Wow.
And he's sideways.
What a great job.
That was.
Man.
Former dirt track racer doing his best there to hang on to that car sideways.
He was up on the cushion right here sideways.
He had his eyes closed about right there when he saw that 20 coming up there.
It's open.
Casey Kane will lead him down. Kane and Montoya, Harvick, Martin, and Rudem in the top 5. Dave.
And just in case they go to the end of the race, Casey wants this car just a little bit tighter. They're going to take air pressure out of the right rear. They added down on the track bar at the very end 4 tires and fuel. Vince?
Mark Martin's car is close. It's just a little bit tight. He said don't go too small or too strong on the adjustment, so they're going to make a real small wedge adjustment. He said, I just want this thing to end. Jamie?
And the ratchet goes in the rear window for the 42. Apparently having contact with the wall has made him faster. He's been on it. 4 tires, Sunoco fuel, Shannon.
Well, the last adjustment for Denny Hamlin was up on the track bar. They did not like that. They're going to go back down on the track bar and also make an air pressure adjustment. 4 tires for the 11.
Scramble off of pit road. You see Montoya losing a couple of positions, and David Strimmy up 3 spots. Both Martin and Harvick up a position, and Casey Kane holds on to the lead. Now,
how about Bobby Labonte up 3 spots too, in 10th spot?
Isn't it amazing? And Jimmy Johnson, by the way, back out on the racetrack. There's Pace car getting ready to pull away, and that is the telemetry on our leader, Casey Kane, as we will listen in and go full throttle with the Gree V12.
Up there if you want, whatever that car is, stop up top.
Alrighty.
Okay, pace car's off. Coming on down, be ready.
Back here, he just got us off. We'll try to hang on to the back.
Green flag, green flag, green flag. Green flag, green flag. Still inside the 29. Way fast, still inside the 29. Outside. Coming with a run there inside the 98. Extra car the 42. Clear behind him. Plan there. He didn't really hustle either. Racing you. Still racing. Still racing. Clear the 98. If you see the 5, just say looking outside. 71. Outside. Well, still working the top part. Coming in. Go. Clear.
Great racing all around the racetrack, and there's Bobby Labonte embroiled in a battle. Oh, David Strimmy almost gets him that time.
Both these guys having great runs, but they don't need to end them here with 50 laps to go.
Yeah, we're not there yet, guys. Here goes Montoya now going for the lead.
Montoya was running down Casey Kane when the caution came out, and now he has caught him.
I love this racetrack.
Oh, yeah, nothing like it. Yeah.
Best on-track racing, really, all the way around we've seen all night. I mean, all year tonight.
Juan Pablo Montoya makes it the 29th lead change here at Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Yeah, they look up, they see Denny Hamlin coming too there. He's going to try to get to the outside of Casey Kane for that second spot.
There's now Biffle being shown in the 13th position in spite of all the issues they've had tonight. That's possibly getting a chance at a top 10 finish.
Yeah, they've gotten the free pass. They were a lap down at one time, got the free pass to get back on the lead lap, and now they're making the most of that also.
Great racing at Atlanta Motor Speedway under the lights. It is the next to the last race to be able to get in the chase. It's the race of the chase. And right now it is Juan Pablo Montoya, who has pulled away to almost a 1-second lead over Casey Kane.
They're better in this race, and right now he's just dropped to 5th. This team felt very optimistic about their chase chances. They said they've been working toward the chase for the past 8 weeks.
Backwards here. He's continuing to struggle with the handling of this race car. Dave?
I'm telling you, as Stremme looks to the inside now to try to get that position from Kyle, he said, you guys just killed the front end with that last adjustment. It was just track bar and wedge, but the front end will not turn for Kyle. He's dropped back to 12th and now 13th possibly after restarting 8th.
And in the point situation, Dave, he's now back to 14th in the point standings, 58 points back, which is what he didn't want to hear, which means that he may have to go to Richmond and do anything and everything he can do to try to gain as many points as possible.
Yeah, and he may can go there and win the race, and that's still not be enough. Right. Yeah, that's the position they're putting themselves in.
11th spot.
Yeah, it's nice to see some of these guys, like Robbie Gordon and some others that haven't had the best of years, having some nice runs here tonight.
Robbie's best finish in the year was 3rd at Charlotte back in May. Now, that was in the rain-shortened race, but he did run in the top 10 for much of the night. Well, to get a little different perspective, let's go down to our pit studio for Alan Beswick and the guys. Hey, B?
And with his mountains of historical data that these crew chiefs and engineers bring to races, what are the chances, based on history? We're going to see another yellow before this thing's done.
Well, you know what they say. It ain't over till it's over, and it is what it is, Alan. It is what it is. It says about a 70% chance we could see another caution around lap 310.
So if we see another caution then in these last 25 laps, and by the way, 310, 10 laps from now, that really puts the pressure on these pit crews, particularly Montoya's.
Oh, absolutely. They got to kick down pit road. They got to get 4 tires on these cars. They got to do it efficiently. They got to do it fast and efficient and get back out there. They can't lose what they've been gaining all day long. Especially
here right now.
If this thing goes green, Kevin Harvick's going to drive it off in the sunset.
Yeah.
Even though it already set.
Yeah, his car's not that good. He's just hoping that he doesn't see another caution to give these guys an opportunity to get fresh tires, because that's not the best scenario for his race car. But if it stays green, he's got them whipped. As long as he doesn't have any problems.
Montoya will come off the corner there and lead that time by, but Harvick is now right on the deck.
Yeah, Kevin knows he's got a better car right now at this point, and he's not going to push the issue. He's just going to let it come to him. It's a good feeling when you've got a car and you've run the leader down like this, and you know it's just a matter of time till you're going to drive by.
Yeah, you just have to still be patient in this situation, knowing the situation of the race. You still have 20 laps to go. Just not try to press the issue as to when you do finally make that pass, pulling up in front of the. You'll see now he's been able to clear that. Montoya's not going to press the issue too much either, because he's accomplished as much as he wants to win. It's really about him solidifying himself into the chase.
And we know we've got a 70% chance of having a caution here in the next few laps, so he might get another shot at it.
It is hard to believe that Kevin Harvick had only led 1 race all year long. That was for 9 laps at Las Vegas prior to tonight.
He can lead 11 more laps tonight. He'll lead the most laps here. Martin Truex still the guy that's led the most laps. Seems like forever ago that he was the guy that was out front and man to beat. Now a lap down in 24th spot, Martin Truex is.
Kevin Harvick's last win 95 races ago, back in the season opener in 2007, the Daytona 500.
Here we're riding with David Reagan, who has had a tough night. He's got caught speeding on pit road, had to make a pass-through penalty there. But moments ago, he had a little action on the racetrack, too. Watch him as he comes off the corner here. Watch his car get sideways, guys.
Whoa.
Wow. I mean,
look at those black marks. He laid black marks all over him.
You don't save that too many times. That's just a tremendous job by this young man. He's on board. Now, he's thinking right there that, wow, I might have just messed up and hit the inside wall. We see these guys. I think Ray brought it up earlier.
Back, come here out.
He's able to. These guys are able to save these cars, and partly because of the wing that's on the back. I think that maybe that creates some of the problem in getting them in that situation, and then it helps save them.
That might have been the caution flag that Ray was referring to, which didn't happen because of a great save by David Reagan.
Well, Ray still has 3 more laps for that to come out, so we'll see.
There's Harvick moving in behind the 6 car. Harvick the leader, Montoya in second, Casey Kane is third, so it's 2 Chevys, a Dodge. Then David Rudiman having a great night in his Toyota. Mark Martin back in 5th spot. Denny Hamlin is 6th, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. back in 7th.
Look who's getting lapped. Kyle Busch getting lapped right here by Kevin Harvick. Not the night he was looking for.
No. Now I know Ray's sitting down there saying his window is the last 15 laps of this race. There's a 70% chance of a caution coming out. Is that right, Ray?
Well, I don't know. On the paperwork, it said right around 310. It said 70.
Don't you love it when a plan comes together, Ray?
How about that? Hey, man.
Hey, where you getting your info here, Ray?
Andy, if we'd have had this kind of information when we were crew chiefs, man, we'd have won 10 championships. We'd have been dangerous.
That's great.
Ray, you got to give me a high five on that, buddy.
Yeah, I'll applaud you there, Ray. That's pretty sweet, buddy.
I'm going to get Ray to pick some lottery numbers for me.
No kidding. Well, not what Kevin Harvick wanted to see, though.
No, that was his teammate that brought it out, too.
Yeah.
There's the 33.
And the 18 car, Kyle Busch, will get the free pass. He'll be able to get back on the lead lap. Flag right side there. Oh, my goodness. Wow. There's Boyer sideways.
Digs up a little bit of that grass.
We see that more here on cars exiting onto the straightaway, off the corner, off the banking, it's spinning out.
It's Gil Martin, the crew chief, on Kevin Harvick's car. Like, I cannot believe that just came out.
And of all things, our teammate.
And you saw Delana Harvick there on the left and on the right. So that's Kevin's wife. Just put her chin down on her chest and couldn't believe it. 15 to go. Let's go down to Dave in the 9 pit.
Casey Kane pits from 3rd, looking for a way to get back up front. They've picked up positions on pit road all night. Maybe that's a way. No changes to the car, air pressure or chassis. Vince?
Mark Martin comes to the pit box running 5th. They had an idea tonight to just be smart, take care of the car, and have good stops. Check, check, and check. 4 tires, no changes. Jamie?
Who has the fastest pit crew? Let's see. The 42 wants to free it up a bit. They actually made a slight track bar adjustment. 4 tires. He's still in the pit. Down and away, Shannon.
Jamie, they hooked Kevin Harvick up for the short run. A pound of air in all 4 tires. 4 tires and fuel for the 29.
A race off of pit road. You see Harvick there and Rudiman up a spot. Casey Kane up a spot. Greg Biffle, his guy's getting it done. 4 tires, up 3 positions.
The Montoya lost 2 spots, but the good thing for him, I think, is he's going to start on the outside lane. That's where he wants to be on this restart.
His restart, it was Montoya. He was a rocket. Remember, he went around everybody and pulled away for a while until Harvick finally ran him down. They spin the tires. Green flag in Atlanta. There comes Hamlin on the inside. Rudiman is there.
Yeah, Rudiman kind of blocked his progress for a second, but here comes Hamlin. Harvick got a nice job, but here comes Casey Kane back on the inside.
Off the turn, Casey Kane dead even with Kevin Harvick.
Kane knows this is his chance. He's seen that the 29 hasn't been the best on these restarts. He knows this is his chance to win this race.
10 laps to go this time by, and Casey Kane is the leader.
I'm really surprised that Harvick picked that outside lane on that restart because his car's just not been that good on the outside.
Yeah, I just think his car's just not that good. The setup that they have on fresh tires, that their strength has been not falling off like the other cars after about 15 laps.
See Montoya coming down the backstretch with a little bit of momentum.
83 car is digging. Brian Bickers, he's in 8th position.
There's Mark Martin on the outside of him, trying to keep that spot. And once again, there's Matt Kenseth. There comes Martin with a big run off of turn 4.
And that will be taking the 6th spot away from Kenseth.
David Rudiman, he's gotten back around Denny Hamlin, and now Hamlin's trying to take that back from him.
You know, all the guys with short run cars are loving this restart here with just 9 laps to go.
Guys, again, the short runs, when you just got fresh tires, you don't got many laps to go, you just burn it all.
Use them up. Now's the time. Get your money's worth. And looks like Casey Kane is flat getting his money's worth.
Well, we've seen him be fast on these short runs here, especially late in the race. He said his car gets looser the more that they run. Good thing about this, he doesn't have to run very long.
Yeah, that's why Gil Martin was so upset on that pit box when he saw that caution flag fly. They had this one in the bag until then.
See Montoya closing in on Harvick for that second spot. Here's a battle with Greg Biffle and Jeff Gordon. That'll be for the ninth spot.
Well, another great comeback of the night with the 16 team for Biffle. He was out to lunch for about the first 170 laps.
Yeah, at one point in time, they'd fallen out of the top 12 in the rundown. So nice job, nice recovery for them.
7 laps to go here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. First time they have run this race on Labor Day weekend under the lights.
7 more, bud, 7.
I'm telling you, Casey Kane's gone. 2.5 lead on Harvick.
Kane the leader, Harvick, Montoya, Rudeman, and Hamlin the top 5. 6 to go.
Mark Martin just passed Denny Hamlin. Man, he made a great pass. He almost got into the wall coming out of 4.
3 wide right here. Look at Kyle Busch making the most of getting that lap back.
Tony Stewart has also salvaged a pretty good night. He is back there in the 12th position. There is Stewart. You see him in front of the 18 car of Kyle Busch.
Yeah, his teammate Ryan Newman has made something of this too. He had fallen back outside the top 20 at one point in time too. You see him battling right now, trying to get into the top 10.
Newman and Stewart are at 11th and 12th right now on the racetrack. Now less than 5 laps to go here at Atlanta. Casey Kane trying to pick up his second win. In 2009, he snapped a 37-race winless streak by winning at Infineon Raceway on the road course in California, trying to get his first oval track win in over a year.
Kind of expected Montoya to make a bigger run at the end of this race. I thought he had the car to beat maybe in a short run. But Casey Kane's one that stepped up to it this time. And Harvick's having a good short-run car here. They did a good job of pumping those tires up and keeping him in contention, at least in second spot.
Yeah, but he probably wasn't the only one that pumped the tires up either, so that's what he had to think about. The other guys were making adjustments there, too. It's just that, unfortunately for Kevin tonight, these other guys have a better short-run setup. There's Rudeman. He's still up in that 4th spot. Really good run for him. These guys still battling. See, Matt Kenseth trying to hang on. He's fallen outside of the top 10.
Well, he's just scratching and clawing for the best finish he can get tonight. Right now, he's showing 12th in points, right at the cutoff.
Yeah, just 23 points ahead of Brian Vickers, who was ahead of him on the racetrack. Kenseth now being shown in 11th position, Vickers up in 7th spot.
Yeah, but it could have been an even more devastating night with the way they started this out, with Matt getting into the wall early on. See Tony Stewart diving to the inside of Matt here, but they made a nice comeback. There's still this battle for second spot with Kevin Harvick and Montoya. Montoya now going to the high side. He's put just enough laps on. He thinks he can get up there maybe and make some time.
He's a little too little too late, though. Casey Kane driving away.
When you get it, one more time, hit your marks.
Montoya driving the car he finished second with at Pocono, Pennsylvania. His best finish of the year. He's only top 5.
White flag for Casey Kane.
Straight away, 1 to go. 30.
Casey Kane said they were very frustrated about the disappointing finish at Bristol, Tennessee. They dropped from 8th to 11th in the point standings after finishing 28th at Bristol. They have finished outside the top 10 the last 3 races in a row. They were in jeopardy of maybe not making the chase. They came to Atlanta on a mission. And here, under the lights at Atlanta Motor Speedway on a Labor Day weekend, Casey Kane gets it done and goes to victory lane.
Great job. Be Harvick, Montoya, Rudeman, and Martin in the top 5.
Hey, what Mark Martin needed a good solid top 5 run.
And Kyle Busch fought back to get back to 13th. Brian Vickers at 7th. He'll go into Richmond just 20 points out of that 12th spot.
Unofficially, Casey would be credited with leading 6 times for 60 total laps. Let's go down and visit with the winning crew chief, Vince.
Kenny Francis, the crew chief for the 9, after the disastrous run at Bristol when you dropped down to 11th in points. How big is it to come back with a win tonight?
Well, it's a big win. We thank the Lord for making us smart enough to make the right decisions. We had a good idea what we did wrong at Bristol and came back here and did a little bit different. And boy, it worked out. I'm so proud of the guys and proud of Keith Rod, our engineer, and our whole pit crew did a great job, and the motor ran great. It's just a perfect night for us.
The 9 car with a huge win tonight, guys.
Casey's second win here at Atlanta Motor Speedway in just 12 starts. And it is a big night for him in terms of the point standings. Take a look at the points here. You see that Denny Hamlin is now in the chase, locked in.
How about 5 spots up in points for Casey Kane?
And look at the bubble here, guys. We are going to have a lot of nail biters next week in Richmond, Virginia.
Yeah, you can see that right there. Brian Vickers, Kyle Busch are the ones outside looking in. Matt Kenseth, what a great job tonight to stay in the top 12.
And Carl Edwards is only 105 points ahead of that, and he's up in the 5th spot. So got a lot of guys that are going to have some sleepless nights this week thinking about next weekend at Richmond. Should be an exciting night.
If you like what you saw here, folks, there's still a lot more to come. We're going to be with you throughout the remainder of the year, all the way to the 2009 NASCAR Sprint Cup Series Championship. Next week on a Saturday night, under the lights at Richmond, Virginia. Then New Hampshire when the chase begins, up at the Monster Mile in Dover, Kansas, all the way down through the final event at Homestead Miami Speedway. Now let's go down to Jamie Little.
And for the second time this year, Kevin Harvick leads some laps. You guys just came to life tonight, Kevin. There's been a lot on your plate. You've been open about this organization. You guys came together this week. What does this run do for you?
This is big for everybody on our Shell Pennzoil Chevrolet. Just a good night for us. We had a great car on the long runs. Congratulations to Casey. They were a lot better on the short runs, and it just came down to a short run tonight.
All right, Kevin Harvick finishes second, his best finish of the year. Guys?
Well, they took a lot away from this race tonight, the Childress guys did, and that should help the whole organization.
Yeah, it really should. What an entertaining race all night long. Man, we had passion for the lead, a lot of racing everywhere. I hope the fans enjoyed this as much as what we did up here in the booth.
Just didn't know who was going to show up at the end.
No,
it was Casey Kane in this 9 car.
Right.
Well, I enjoyed getting NASCAR stock car racing back on a Labor Day weekend here in the South, where it was for so many years.